Okay guys, welcome to my video. This video is about trying to do a practice model on which is the best way to start a new model. It's quite important you pick the right faces to work with early on in the modelling. The primary sketch, the first sketch, is very important. It's a bit like building a house. You need very good foundation to make sure the model doesn't fall apart when you make changes. So what you want to try and do is pick the best face to work with first, to make sure it's as stable as possible and it upgrades nicely when you make changes. So this is the model we're going to try and this is the item we're going to try and model. So I always try and look at something before I try and start modelling it and decide which is the best way of modelling it first. So this particular model, we could do this side view and extrude it. We could do a top view and extrude it down and then take all the bits of material away. There's lots of different ways of starting, but it's best to try and look at how the model may update later on depending on what you want to change. And generally speaking, most things you'll want to tweak a little bit here and a little bit there. So with this particular model, I think the best way of starting is to do a sketch on this front face. This is probably the most complicated face, so I'd probably start with this face first and extrude it in this direction and then take material away. So we're going to have a go at trying to model this particular item using this as your primary first sketch. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is let's just shrink this down a little bit. I think what I want to do is I'm going to make sure it looks roughly the right scale as this, but the actual sizes don't really matter. So let's have a go at trying to model this particular item. So let's start with a new file. Practice model, and it's saving to the right area. It's on model, it's on millimeters, that's okay. Right, let's just change the background. Do edit background. That's a bit better. Right, so let's go back to the home tab and let's go sketching task environment. Let's go to that. Right, so I'm going to draw a circle up here somewhere, circle that's concentric. I'm going to make sure this is on the centre of my coordinate system. So let's go to geometrical tolerances, point on curve. So it's that arc centre on that centre line. Then we've got a couple of angled faces. Again, I don't like this particular constraint, so I'm going to highlight it, delete it, likewise at the top, highlight it and delete it. I think I'm going to change it so when I'm doing this sketch it doesn't put that constraint in. Let's have a quick look here, inferred constraints, so I'm going to turn that particular constraint off, which is this one and this one. Right, so I'm going to come down, across, make sure the right constraints are on when you're creating this. I'm going to come across there somewhere and up there somewhere. Let's trim it back. And I want to make this so it's tangent. So let's go tangency between that and that, that and that. Let's trim it back. I think there's some little rads in here as well, so I think I'm going to put them in at the same time. Let's use the Phillip tool. Right, let's try and constrain it a little bit more. So I'm going to make sure this line is on the coordinate system. So let's go collinear. I'm going to put some sizes on. Let's make that 80. Let's put height in. 80. Let's put a radius on the end. Right, let's make sure it's in the middle, so from there to there. P6 divided by 2. Radial 20. Right, let's match this radius with this one. Equal radius. Let's put an angle on for this. So that looks a bit steep actually. Let's go for 40. And let's say P11. P11. Right, so we've just got the hole in the middle. Put a diameter on it. Right, so I'm just going to check, make sure this looks about the right sort of scale. So it looks a little bit tall in comparison to this front face. It's not too far out. That rad's probably a little bit big. Let's shrink it down a fraction. Let's make it 70. And we'll make that rad 16. Right, that'll do. Let's finish the sketch. We've got fully constrained sketch. Let's finish the sketch and extrude it. Get the shape. Let's go for about 180, I think. Let's just double check it against the PDF. Somewhere near, probably a little bit longer. Let's just double click the box. Let's go for 200. Right, so that's my first sketch. I think I'm going to do a sketch on this face now and extrude it through the part. So what I really want now is to take out this material, and this material here, and extrude it through the part. So I'm going to do a sketch on this face. Let's go for a box here, box here, and then we've got, make sure this point on curve snaps on if you're going to snap onto an existing line. So I'm going to start here somewhere, come across, up, across somewhere, and make sure I snap onto the end of this line, make sure end of line's on. This can make it more complicated, so it's probably best to turn that one off. So it's picked it and up. That's what I wanted. Just trim that back. Just going to line the tops up with a collinear constraint. And I'm going to line this line up with this edge. That way, if the length of this changes, that line's going to go with it. Right, so what I want to do now is line up this top edge with this top edge here, but this edge is in the background. It's not on the same plane, so I can't use this edge. So I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to put a plane on the top which is going to drive this sketch line. A plane's got an infinite length, so we can use a plane. So click on data and plane, it's on inferred, so it's going to guess. Click on the bottom face, click on the top edge. Let's have a look what it's doing. That's exactly what I want. Right, so now I want to use this plane in this sketch, but at the minute the plane is after the sketch. This plane needs this extrude because it's highlighted in red. and this sketch needs this extrude and this sketch, so I can grab this plane and just drop it after the extrude. Now I can use this plane in this sketch. I can use anything in front of it, I can't use anything after it inside this sketch. So let's edit this sketch, edit with rollback, and let's go, so it's on collinear, use that line and that edge. So that is the work plane. So if I move the height of the first sketch up and down, which will make this move up and down, then this plane will also go up and down with it. Now I need to put some dimensions on to make this look roughly like the PDF. So this line's a bit lower, and then this one's a bit higher, and then this one's a bit higher again. So let's just drag it roughly. And then this one's higher again. Right, let's put some dimensions on. I think I'm going to dimension the bit in the middle as well. From there to there. Let's go for 20. I could drive this one and this one from this one, or I can drive from the bottom. I think I'm going to drive from the bottom. Let's go for 30. From there to there. Let's go for 20. From there to there. P23. So I want to match the material that's left there and there. That wants to be the same thickness. It looks that way on the PDF. So that's this piece here and this piece here. At the minute that looks a bit thick, so I need to make that a little bit thinner. And the gap in the middle looks like it's about twice whatever that is. So let's go from there to there. P23 times 2. Right, so let's make that P23. Let's go for 16. Put a distance in there. Let's make that 25. Let's put an angle in for this. Let's just double check the PDF again. Right. That's probably a little bit lower. It's probably not too far away. It's probably a bit thinner as well. Let's make that a little bit lower. Let's go for 37. Let's make that 14. Right, so I think that's close enough. That's this shape, and this shape. That's probably a little bit thick. Let's try and dimension it that way instead. The angle's probably a fraction out as well. Let's get rid of that one and dimension it across. Let's try that for now. That's okay. So if you look here, sketch is fully constrained. So I can finish the sketch and I can extrude. Split the boxes. Let's go the opposite way. And we always want to go through the part. Through all. That's somewhere like what I was expecting. Alright, so for now I'm going to hide that information. Let's just hide some of these sketches. Let's hide that one, and let's hide that plane for now. Alright, let's have a quick look at the PDF again. So I think I'm going to do the cutout at the front next. I think I'm going to do a sketch on this plane, or that face. Oh, let's go to that again, sorry. Let's try that again. Sketch. There we go. Let's just draw a box in. Let's align it. That face to that face, that face to that one. There we go. Let's put a thickness in here from there to that. Something like 5mm. There to that. P30. Right. Sketch is fully constrained. Right, I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to make the thickness of the bottom piece from there to the underside and from here to the underside the same, and I'm going to make it the same as the thickness of the outers here. So let's put a plane in. Make some plane. The underside, let's flip that and let's keep it at 5mm. Right. If I double click this, where it's got a 5, I'm going to put in P30. Now I'm going to edit this sketch. And let's go. So P30 is 5mm. So that P30 is driving the height of that bottom work plane as well, and it's driving this side, so it should all match. So if I change this, the plane will move as well. So now I'm going to extrude it until selected and pick the plane. And it's guessing, and it's guessing correctly, it's going to subtract it. That's pretty much what I wanted. So that's something like. Now I've got this pattern on the back here to do. Looking at it, that looks a little bit wide compared to theirs. I think I might make that a little bit smaller, and these look a little bit thick still. So let's just go and edit that. Let's make this smaller and that a bit thinner. So it was this sketch, right click, edit roll back. So by changing this P23, it should change this and should change this as well. So let's make that 12, 10. Make it 12. That's better. Right, so I think the next thing is I'm going to draw this shape into this face, and I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to mirror this around the centre line of the part. Right, so let's put a plane in the middle. I could use this plane here, but I think I'm going to put a different work plane in. So let's go for a plane, click on that face, and that face. Oh, sorry, it clicked onto something then. There we go. So let's put a plane in the middle. Let's draw a circle in. Line. Circle. Let's match the circles. Let's change that to a reference. Right. back that line there. Let's go from there to there. Back them bits, trim back the bit in the middle, trim that and that, line the tops up. Let's go from there to there. Put some rads in. It's going the wrong way. Let's hit the escape key. Let's try that again. Put a rad in. Let's drive it with using this top rad. Let's make it 2. Right, so here I want to match this side, this thickness, and this thickness. So I think I'm going to get rid of that dimension for now. It says P41. P41. I should keep it in the middle. From there to there. P41. And across here, so from there to the centre line. P41 divided by 2. Right. Let's match the radiuses. As you can see, it's constraining when it's going green. Sketch is fully constrained. I'm not keen on these points though, here, here, and here. So I think I'm going to delete the points, and it's probably going to get rid of a dimension or something. So I might need to put another dimension back in. Let's just get rid of them points for now. I'm not keen on them. I prefer not to have the points in, especially when you're going to do a drawing. I don't want points appearing. Right, the sketch is still fully constrained, so it's not actually deleted anything, it wasn't doing anything. So yeah, that looks a lot better. Let's just have a quick look, see if it looks roughly the same. That's what we've got here. Yeah, I think this is a bit long now. Let's just make this a little bit longer. Distance between, let's make that 30. Let's go for 30 there. Let's have another quick look. That looks a bit better. Right, so I think that's somewhere near. So the sketch is fully constrained, finish sketch. Extrude, put the shape. Now I want to go the other direction. I want to go until selected, pick the work plane. It's guessing at the correct boolean, it's going to subtract it. So that's what I wanted. Right, so I want to mirror that around this plane now. I think that looks about right. Let's just double check it. Yep. Right, so if you don't know where mirror is, if you type it in here, mirror, and all the features will come up to do with mirror. And I think we want, let's try mirror feature. Mirror feature. So select feature, so we want that extrude. Select the plane, we want that plane. Let's see, okay. There we go. Let's just hide that. And hide that. Right, so we've got some holes to put in, a few radiuses to put on. We've got some radiuses around here to do. Looks like there are some radiuses down here and around this feature, around these corner edges. So let's put these radiuses on now. So let's go for edge blend across here. Right, so I've selected something by mistake there. So what you can do is hit the shift key to deselect it, and then select what you wanted. So I think I'm going to make that 3. So got some rads in there. Now I'm going to put that rad around here. Edge blend. So there. Down, across. Up and across. And then there's a bigger one coming this direction along here and along here. So add new set. I'm going to make this one 6 there and there. Got there, that one there is bigger than the one going round. It looks something like that. Let's put in these 4 holes here next. So I think we've got the information we need to put them holes in. We'll use these arc centers. Let's go hole. Make sure the right snap is on, so we want arc center. And we need to select the center of that, so you've got to be careful where you select. If you select here, it'll do a sketch on the surface. I want to select that edge. That edge. Let's go for 4. And it's through body. And now we've got a couple of holes here and a couple of holes here. So I think I'm going to do a sketch on this face and probably a sketch on this face. Let's go sketch. Let's go there. Different ways you can do this. I can put in points and I can constrain dimension the points up. I think I'm just going to put a line in. So from here. Coming down, put 1 dimension from there to there. That's about right. From there to there. So that's P180 from there to there. P180. Right, I think I'm going to push it across a fraction. So let's make that 3 as well. Let's make that 3.5. That'll do. Let's go for whole again. So this time I'm going to take that one off and make sure the end point is on. There and there. I've got 2 holes. The holes are probably a fraction big. Let's make the holes a bit smaller. Let's go for 3. Let's put some holes in here. You see I'm dimensioning it centrally again. If this shape gets bigger or smaller, I want to keep the holes so they're central. Let's go for 16. So that's P240. Let's match this. P240. Let's have a quick look where they are. Somewhere there. So the sketch is fully constrained. New sketch. Put the hole in. There and there. 3 body. Let's make them 3 to match. Right. So let's just hide the sketch. Let's just hide the coordinate system. I think that looks roughly right. I could increase these radiuses a little bit. They're probably a fraction small. Let's make them a little fraction bigger. So let's go back to this sketch. So I think it's this one. Yep. So I can double click it here, so it'll go into. I can edit it with everything else active. If I edit with the rollback, it goes back in time to when this was first created. So nothing after it is active. If I double click it, it'll edit with everything active. So let's double click it. Right, so let's go for 3mm. It's telling me how it's going to change. All these radiuses are going to change to match. New sketch. And it's updated. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video.